headquarters are in Raleigh, but,
That's
our
right, they did the jet
president, a
ski.
couple of our staff are in Murals Inlet, but yeah, the plant's about an hour inland, but it's a great, I mean, I've just been there once now.
I can't wait to go again.
It's great to see, and they'll definitely give tours and everything, so, yeah, give Carly a call and
that's cool.
I don't know,
yeah. It's like watching, it's like a Skittles factory, cause all the colored bags that are getting made, all the different bag lines, like purple and yellow and blue and.
It's funny, cause I'm,
Nope, I
There's
left
something
the
better?
last meeting, so what, I had done a scaled down version,
Even better.
so, but I'm just not sure what you guys discussed after I left, if you changed any part of this, so I did make copies of the scaled down that was just
Okay.
Board of Health, but,
I don't remember what we talked about.
sorry, I
either.
didn't, I haven't gotten to the minutes, so I don't know what you guys, I just.
we were gonna check honestly
I lost
about,
my fee schedule, Matt. Oh, there it is.
sewer tie, that's not in this one, and the septic wasn't on this one, right?
What do you mean,
That's
how much a
where
sewer tie-in inspection is?
just all the septic related inspections.
Yeah, anything with septic, that wasn't on this one either.
Oh, no, it's a separate
Yeah, but it should-
spreadsheet, it always been, but it should be added to this?
Well, we should
Yes.
review it too, to,
Okay.
Okay.
as the Board of
That
Health,
makes
I think.
sense.
Well,
That makes sense, all in one
let's
place.
get this party going.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll set cable if you're not filming us yet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call the meeting to order at 6:05, and if everyone that's here will stand to pledge allegiance. Oh, we got a bigger flag this time.
Flag Day.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there, since there's no one here, I wouldn't imagine we have any public input at this point, right? We'll move on to new business, and we're going to, at this point, receive a presentation of services offered by our new trash bag vendors, Waste Zero. And she's gonna explain to us different options available to the town to try to help us in our organization and accounting and so forth and so on of these particular bags. Do you wanna do a PowerPoint?
I do, is there a way to hook it up, or I don't have a projector?
I don't think.
I mean, I can just have the handout and I can, we can just, y'all follow along, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you
I'll
want
have to
to-
do that.
Yes.
We can
That's
probably,
fine.
probably work
Yeah.
this sideways and then people, I don't know.
It's
We can
kinda,
work, yeah, we can work off that, yeah.
This is bigger than my
Yeah.
screen, so.
Okay.
Great.
Save money, reduce waste.
So, well, first of all, thank you for, joining on forces with Waste Zero. I'm sure you'll be very pleased with our bags, as you I'm sure have been already. But obviously we work with a lot of different communities throughout the state. I mean, Freetown is one, a couple of your neighbors, Taunton, forgetting my geography here, Somerset nearby.
Yep.
Yeah, and a couple others, a bunch of Massachusetts. We would work with about, I think, 80% of the bag programs in Massachusetts were on the state contract. And really enjoy working with the communities to not just say, here are your bags, good luck, but we offer, you know, the full services which we wanna go into, and help you with today, so we can kind of get started. Just a little background on us, you know, we're the only firm in the US that can really do a full comprehensive program of analyzing the waste and looking at new advancements and different things. So again, we're not just, here are your bags, off you go, figure it out yourself. We offer a lot more than that. And I think something that we're really proud about is we are a certified B Corporation. It's our 3rd year in a row. And it's awarded only to companies who reach certain environmental and sustainability standards, not only in their operations, but the services they provide. So Patagonia is another one of those communities, or companies that are also B Corp. So it's really a nice prestige and honor for us to be awarded that multiple years in a row. Not only that, but we do, you know, have a mission. Yes, we are a for-profit company, but we fully believe in reducing the nation's waste. So just a couple examples, as you guys know how Pay As You Throw works. We see this across the board, a really great reductions. We work with folks nationwide on Pay As You Throw. So there on page 4, as you know, there are challenges to Pay As You Throw programs. The best news is they are the most successful type, as I'm sure you've seen. They're the fair and equitable way, just like your cell phone bill, your electric and your water bill. If you're paying the bill, you're not letting your faucet run the whole time, and you don't just say, oh, we all pay the same water bill in town, and your buddy's got a pool and you don't. You know, it's very fair and equitable, so the bag is that meter, that we're able to do. And of course, as I'm sure you're aware, there are some challenges to running it yourself. Distributing the bags can be difficult, you know, prepayment of invoices, having inventory, is it locked, is it secure? A lot of time and resources are involved in managing that. And again, just managing everything. So if you really were to add it up, you know, there's the phone calls for the store orders, it's taking the invoice, calling that store that forgot to pay, making sure you have the stock, you know, did your trailer get locked out, is the person on vacation for 2 weeks and you forgot the key, you know, all those things we see in municipal government. And just as a side note, I spent 10 years in local government. I was the recycling manager of the city of Newton for 10 years. So we always knew, no, things can happen, right? Like right now, we're in a different reading room, so
Yeah.
things are always constantly changing. So we kind of provide services for cities and towns to basically do what you do best and run the city and run Board of Health meetings and focus on other public service complaints and not worrying about, do I have bags in stock into the stores, are they stocked? That should be run more efficiently for you. And again, there's also other costs too with your vehicles, insurance, laborers, that type of thing. So really that last sentence there, what does it really cost your municipality to run your program? So there on page 6, the solution. Waste Zero, we can partner with you. Again, we make our bags, as Kevin has mentioned, right here in the US. We're really proud of that. They're in Hemingway, South Carolina. It's an hour inland from about Myrtle Beach area. And we do that value-added services that we'll talk more in depth about for really 100% worry-free turnkey solution to your pay-as-you-throw bags. Really reducing those risks associated with inventory and order management. We take full responsibility for all the accounting, financing, and delivering, and you name it, we're doing it right now for multiple communities and your neighbors.
How long have you been in operation?
About 30 years.
Really?
Waste Zero, yeah, we started out, it's a little, I can give you a little backstory if you're interested. It's kind of interesting how it came to be. But they kind of, our current president of the company, Mark Dancy, his father actually has the patent for what we now call that T-shirt bag that we often, people are trying to ban in communities. But it was very helpful back in the day when you just had like a loose plastic sack or a paper bag, and stores could put it on that rack and very easily, you know, do groceries. So he got the patent for that, started making plastic bags. Then they're realizing this is a little more wasteful. They ended up actually working with the city of Binghamton in New York, who was doing pay-as-you-throw for the last 20 or so years, and their bag vendor just totally wiped. We're done with you. We're done with making bags. And as you can imagine, if all of a sudden a city had no one to make bags and you rely on your residents to need the bags, they started making a partnership. Mark Dancy's father realized that, wow, this is a really great venue. Not only can we help communities with our plastic film, with our experience there, but this actually, you know, we can help communities reduce their waste and move forward that way. So we really become a leader in growing our business, helping municipalities reduce waste. So we're in the US and they also built a facility in that part of South Carolina where there were no jobs, and there were people living there that had no kind of industry. So kind of was a really kind of a social cause as well to help the community there. So just quickly over what we recommend as our ideal bags. As you can see, I checked off the ones that you guys have. I know with the drawstring, you're starting to transition to that, like your large bags that you just ordered are drawstring now. Is that correct? Yep. And then you're looking on your small bag with your next order. And same with the insert. I believe you don't have an insert. You didn't have an insert, now you're starting to put them in the bags when you sell them.
I think we had the insert, we just didn't have the code on it,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Was that what it
Just
was?
kind of-
I don't know if that's something the vendors would wanna do. It'd probably make it easier for them to sell a package.
Yeah, and that's something we do recommend when we are in the stores, because they can just, we work with them, we manage the UPC codes, they would just literally scan it, it entered into the, you know, point of sale, their POS,
Oh.
and it works great.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able, our present system, we can't do that. That would be up
Right,
to you
something that we
to
would be able to add in,
put the
but
right-
regardless, we do inserts, you know, it's a half sheet of paper, you know, 5.5 by 8.5, if that's the right dimensions, that just goes in there, it can have this program information on it too, so it's like, here's our website, this is where you go, you know, collection times, you know, kind of more general announcements, another way, for that, but, so drawstring, as you're moving there, it is the most preferred method for consumers. The registered print, which you're doing, we have 3-ply, and you're doing 5 and 10 count packs, I think it's a 10 count, and recycled content, because I think you're buying off the state contract as well, our specs, which is a minimum of 20%. And we can also make, additional, recycled content as well. But moving more into the services that we offer, really kind of, we recommend folks kind of doing a 3-year agreement. This solidifies the services, the better pricing, just so we're not like one-off, you can kind of get a better value over time, with that. Adding in that retail store distribution, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the full accounting and reporting of that. And then there are some optional services, that would be available to you folks if you're interested. A lot of this is most helpful too to start communities that are just starting up pay-as-you-throw, where residents are like, what's happening? And they need some more education and information. But we still find that existing customers, you know, we do custom program websites. So you could, whether, you know, tell them go to reducethetrash.com/Dighton, or it could be a direct link off your website. We just basically provide an information page that can just be the location of where bags go, or excuse me, where bags are collected, and listing of what goes in the recycling bin and what, and so forth. Or it can be more comprehensive depending on what you'd like to use on your current website or not. So there are things that we offer. We do again have a toll-free information line that residents can use. Again, that's usually more beneficial for startups because, well, all the questions help take it off your shoulders. But we do offer other materials, education materials, how to do composting, what's recyclable, some extra flyers and template materials that we have. So again, adding more services that we can do, and those are optional, of course, if you're interested in exploring them at any time. But getting into the retail store distribution, page 9 there. So just kind of on that top picture there, we make all our bags in the US. We handle all the shipping and delivery to the retail store locations. We monitor and maintain the inventory, and provide all the accounting and receivable logistics or collections with the stores. So we make our bags in South Carolina, and we have several warehouses. We have one just outside the plant. We actually have about 3 locations we store them. That way, if anything was to happen in any of our locations, we have a backup or ability to, you know, get bags to the stores as soon as possible. We do maintain a warehouse in Massachusetts, where most of our New England customers obviously are. Much quicker to get from Massachusetts to Dighton than it would be from South Carolina. So we do maintain that warehouse. You're not getting necessarily, sometimes they do ship from South Carolina depending on, you know, the inventory and when the order came in. But the stores typically, you know, call us. We have a 1-800 number, and they call and say, hey, it's CVS, I'm not sure what the store is, I think you guys sell that. In Dighton, I need to order 5 cases of large. We're like, awesome, and usually we deliver within 5 days. We usually get folks on a delivery schedule pretty quickly. During the beginning of a transition, I'm not sure what your current schedule is. Do they just call and get it as soon as they ask? So usually with that kind of a system, which is very typical of smaller towns too, we help them, okay, you know how, you've been doing this for a while, you know how many bags you're typically going through. We kind of help remind them. Usually our customer service would call in advance to say, hey, you know, do you need to place an order this week? How's it going? Let's, you know, get you on auto order if they want to order the same amount every week. But then they start to realize, oh, I have to call by this time to get my delivery in for that week, and it goes pretty smoothly. But we do help with that transition because it's changed and different. So again, we already have stores. You can add on, you know, additional stores if you'd like. It can be outside of the town as well. That's fine. We deliver those bags to the stores. We bill the retailers, and they have 30 days to pay, technically 45 until it becomes totally past due. And again, that's usually enough time for them to have sold that whatever their order was for that month to be able to pay if they don't want to pay out of pocket. Some larger stores want to pay right away. That's fine for them. Some want to wait, you know, the 30 days to sell their inventory, so they're basically just exchanging. And then each month you would get a report, a sample monthly report, which I can email to you if you're interested in seeing it too, which basically what I say is you can play along at home. So you can see exactly what stores ordered, how the bank deposits are looking. Typically how it handles is the store would write the check to the town of Dighton. They'd mail it to our offices in Merrill's Inlet. And we would handle that deposit for you, and it would go into your account, and we just wire transfer that in. So that way you're not having to, again, take the check and deposit. It would be your own dedicated account, and that's kind of the financial information you'd be seeing is how the money's being deposited on a monthly basis from the stores and the fees as they're collected. So any questions so far, just as an overview, and we can kind of go a little bit
I had
more?
one quick question. Are we gonna sell in the building, in town hall as well, bags?
That is something that
I would
you
say
as a
so,
board
yeah,
need to
we do it
discuss.
now.
And then
If we wanted to do that, then we would have
That's
our.
totally fine, you'd be a store, same
Yes,
exact
we'd
way
have
you
our own
call.
inventory.
You'd say, I need 5 cases, you'd be just like a store, you can have, you know,
And then,
how it wants to be.
and then the other thing that Freetown does, they also used to sell at the transfer station. That's just another idea.
Hmm.
So people stop in, they can buy their
That's actually
bags
a good
either
idea.
here or at the transfer
Cause
station.
you also have curbside collection as well, right, yeah. The only thing I sometimes if you're not currently selling at town hall, I always don't recommend it, cause people aren't running their errands, I'm gonna make an extra stop at town hall, right, so they're.
We actually sell quite a few.
You do anyways, but
the only thing is,
yeah.
if the Board of Health is moving next door, do we want to sell them here through the clerk's office?
I would say the clerk's office
And over
and the Board of
there?
Health.
And,
I mean, it's completely up to you, 'cause again, when people are buying their trash bags, whether it's pay-as-you-throw or just Hefty, they're not coming to town hall to buy a Hefty bag, they're at the store when they're buying their
Yeah.
food and everything anyways,
A
so.
lot of people move into town and
Don't know
they'll
what to
talk to
do.
the clerk first and
Yeah.
she'll tell them about the recycling and
Exactly.
this is this, we also sell town bags here.
Yes, so everything,
It's like a
however you'd like to
one-stop
do it
shop
is
for them.
totally fine, we would handle that in the exact same way as a store location. The only difference is you wouldn't be billed because you don't have to pay the retail cost, because we would just come out, because you're only paying the case fee prices. Just a little more, in detail here as we go through these supplies, as you know, we make them right in our facility, and have a lot of different options with the drawstring and twist tie, as you know, and different packaging, and customized imprinting and whatnot, so those can kind of modify over time. Obviously, we don't wanna be changing in every order, cause that becomes cost prohibitive, but, you know, if all of a sudden there's a new program and you needed to change a bag color for some reason, or whatnot, those can definitely be modified. But into that inventory and distribution, which is always very critical, very secure, dependable, supply chain, and what we take complete risk for that. So if, say for some reason, we lost 3 cases, if you guys lost 2 cases, you're like, oh darn, you know, you have to eat it. In our case, like, we're not gonna say you gotta pay for our mistake, of course not. So we really maintain that inventory, we're not losing cases, and if we do, it's our, we're completely responsible for that. Excuse me, these allergies have been killing me, I've been coughing all day. But we, like I said, we do the UPC codes, we manage that for you, and we have unique codes on each case, there's a unique case tag, so it provides us with another level of tracking. So if there was some reason we needed to know where a case went, we would know which store it went to, and just then providing that one-for-one, the signing, of the cases off, for inventory and distribution.
So would the town get like a quarterly inventory sheet? Like how would the town know, say, 3 cases are missing?
We wouldn't, see, with a full program like this, you're actually not paying upfront. How this works is, we make your inventory.
Yeah, this is a different program than
Yeah.
what they have there.
In Freetown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just so, I don't wanna keep talking.
Yeah,
but
no.
Freetown actually takes in the inventory
Yes.
and disperses it
Yes.
through you guys.
We're happy to change that for you guys too.
I'm not there anymore, so
Oh, you're
just
not
so
there
you know.
anymore? Okay, good to know.
So, but this one actually is
Yeah.
better because now everything's going towards the vendor
Yes.
and they're paying that.
Yep.
And we're actually just providing this service,
Yep.
which is excellent.
Yep.
Reducing the waste stream, increasing the recycling hopefully.
Yep.
And still providing
Right.
what we wanna do.
So, very similar, you have a private hauler for your trash, right? It's not in-house. It's
Yeah,
for
we have a
public-
private, yeah.
for public. Right, you're not, or is it?
Borges.
Oh, but you're not picking up the trash, you're not like, where is it going today, boys? If you
Yeah.
pick up the, it's same thing, you purchase a, contract with them or a service with them, same exact thing in that regard. Exactly, so it's no upfront pricing, we'll get into some more of the benefits as this goes on, which is a great benefit, you completely can eliminate that line item from your budget, which is pretty cool. And what happens is the stores, we'll make the inventory, we usually have a certain level based on we know your usage, and do a percentage about that. And the stores, so we maintain your inventory, so you don't have to be like, time to order, how much do I have? I mean, if you wanna do it, you can, but you don't have to. And the stores would order, again, they pay that full retail cost, a couple $100s per case. On a monthly basis, we'd be deducting that case fee that you currently pay per case, the $40 or so per case, $60 or so, depending on your packaging and all your, how many bags are in the box. But, that comes out, so basically, just for round numbers, say it retails a case for $300, that's what the store buys it as, say we're taking out $50, the store pays, we give you $250 and we keep the $50 for the case fee, for that. So again, you're not having to pay up front. It's just being, the revenue is just coming in. So instead of paying and then getting the revenue, we just do the math. And that's why the monthly reports do show that transaction, so you can see, you're only being billed for the cases being sold and not for a couple hundred in inventory at one time.
So we get monthly reports.
Yes, the monthly report would show exactly what the stores are doing and what the bank deposits were and what we've deducted for the cases that were sold. So again, retailers, this is pretty easy, because you already have retailers, so we do a total, kind of transition with them, like I mentioned before. We do a letter, that you guys would see before we send it out, saying, hi, we're week 0, this is what we're doing, this is how you order. And again, people, change, they get a little
Yeah.
nervous. But like I said, customer service is there, they're calling them, reminding them the first couple weeks before and after we've switched over, making sure that they're on board. And then again, then all of a sudden, like, were we always doing this? It just becomes
I think
part
they'll
of
like it
the
a little
routine.
better because right now they come here and they pay in full.
What they do is they call in, place their order, the delivery guys take out their order, they give the check to the delivery person, who brings it back to me.
Yeah, this way they'll have time to,
Right, they have time to.
they can be delinquent with you.
They can be
They're
delinquent,
actually
yeah.
paying for their last order.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So
they're
that's
paying
what,
for it
so they're
for it.
paying for the prior
In
order.
this case, they have 30 days, in case they're ordering every week, it's a little bit different for them.
Time we making them pay up front now.
No, there's a couple of them that wanna pay, like they
How
pay
they
right when
manage
they
their-
get it, but they only order once every quarter maybe.
Right.
Every 6 months, but most of them are paying previous bills.
Who's the biggest purchaser? Is it Hannaford?
Hannaford,
Yeah, that's difficult, and we work with all the corporate stores, you do a corporate setup as a vendor, it's very easy, to do. And again, retailers already know the benefits, we don't have to go into that. But again, just a little more detail on the, all the services that's behind the scenes, is billing the retailers, collecting from them, issuing payments back to you, and providing that monthly report. So we're fully insured, as I mentioned, against loss, so again, that's not your concern if anything was to happen. So again, we eliminate those worries of shrinkage and inventory control. So it's really, again, making it completely the same thing. You're not worried or wondering, is the trash being picked up today? Maybe you aren't, maybe you're all fell asleep. But essentially, it's making that same worry-free approach to this as well. So just going a little bit more into the benefits of it. Lowering the cost, like I said, no upfront. You can completely take that out of your budget. We manage your program. Likely myself, I'd be your contact, but again, we kind of all work as a team, so if, you wanna talk to Curly more, that's great, we all work together, as well as Natalie, my customer service manager, who's ordering the production. But essentially, there's a person there that's gonna help you. If you have a question, you can email us, call us, we're there to help you. Again, we're doing all that warehousing delivery, we're taking care of that personnel for that. So the folks that are doing it now can do many other things, I'm sure they're constantly getting pulled from. Again, we efficiently manage those retailers, we kind of more business in that sense too. Able to kind of handle like any other vendor they have when they're buying their, other supplies from their stores. Handling questions directly from the retailers, making it kind of very smooth for them. And again, giving them that time to pay their inventory, pay their invoice. The only thing that ever happens if someone is delinquent, if a store hasn't paid, you'd see it on your report, if it became, beyond the 90 days, 60 days, it's like, okay, what's happening? We probably let the town know and look into it and maybe do some threatening where you say, oh, it's time for your new health inspection permit or your, whatever it is, and say maybe there's gonna be a delay or the fire code, whatever it is, kind of saying, this is gonna be on hold until you can get this up to date, we kind of work with them in that sense, but.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but often that's just kind of the mentioning, saying, hey, we know the town is aware of this.
Right, yeah, just hopefully they just want the.
And I don't think you've had problems, since it's
Yeah.
very rare that
No.
this ever happens, exactly, very rare that it happens. And the other thing that we do is, if for some reason there was a store that just forgot or was trying to say, I'll see what I can get with this, we just put them on credit hold. So they can't order another case until they've paid their other bill in full. And that's what would get you involved if there was some sort of issue. We actually had one town, who basically kept forgetting to order in time, like he knew what to do, but of course blamed it on us, it's our fault, and then would go to a store in town, probably the grocery store that had more, and buy cases flat out from the store to have, so he clearly had the money to buy the cases, but just kept wanting to not order on time, and we said, we'll put you on auto order for your 1 case a week, and it was just, they wanted to make it more difficult for themselves, then we kind of smoothed it away and they were fine, but it was just kind of amusing that they were making it more difficult, and we're like, well, these are the easy things to do, like he wanted to make it difficult.
What about individuals that wanna sell it for, or try to sell it for a more expensive price?
Your residents will let you know immediately.
Okay. Yeah.
They won't buy them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your residents know
Yeah.
how much the bags cost, and they're gonna notice it right off the bat if that happens. And so that, yeah, we completely shut that down as well, let them know, and we follow up. And then just furthermore on the benefits, the no upfront cost, that's a really nice one, the price stability. If we do the 3-year agreement, or, that's usually typical in Massachusetts, is you do a 3-year term, with options for extension, we can do any length of term. But it's kind of, it insulates you against that risk of commodity prices. I mean, our biggest drivers are fuel for transport and plastic resin for the actual bags. But with an agreement, like a 3-year agreement, we're able to kind of stabilize your pricing, so for the term, you'll know what it is. And we just use it on a, CPI index, and some other market rate to hedge those, resin and fuel costs. So mostly you're seeing an increase of 2 to 3% a year, with this. But sometimes if you're ordering PO by PO, it could be 7, 15%, and whatever. So you always get the best pricing. You'd never say, oh, you're locked into a contract and we're gonna make you pay this. We're always gonna find that best price. So it could go down if the market changed. But, that's usually not what's happening in the world today. Prices are going up as time goes on. But if there was a decrease, it would happen. And we always, balance that off the, state contract. So we'd never pay more than what's in the state contract prices. Typically, contract prices are way lower than what you see on the state contract. So that's kind of a little overview of the program. So what questions, or clarifications do you guys have?
Did you deliver to an adjacent community such as Somerset or?
We do,
Dover?
yeah, we do Somerset. We switched them over to this program about 2 years ago now.
For Dayton, you could what I'm
Oh,
asking is,
we
deliver
do-
Dayton bags
Oh,
to,
yep, anywhere.
to
I
a
mean,
location
if they wanna
Somerset or
deliver,
Dover.
Titan bags
Yeah.
to Worcester, we would do that too. I'm sure no one would find
Yeah.
them there, but yes.
I know we've had a couple that were vendors and then they
Sure.
gave it up because it became inconvenient to come get one case or
Oh,
something.
yeah, no, we
you know.
deliver, again, we're delivering statewide, and it's typically our FedEx, deliveries that do it, so they don't care where they're going, they just go to the store that's, on their list. So, yep, we'll do surrounding communities, so if there's residents that are commuting, constantly from Taunton.
That's what we have Hannaford that's in Taunton.
Yeah, exactly, and Taunton is one of our customers as well for their full pay-as-you-go as well, and they sell, this
That's
Taunton.
good though, 'cause Somerset is
Mhm.
I've actually tried, where I've gone to Stop and Shop, I say, do you have the Dayton bags? And they're like, no.
I know we have some
Oh.
communities in Western Mass, they have like 3 communities that are there, just because things are a little more spread out, so they have 3 stores, and we all, it's nice when they're different colors, 2 of them are ours and one was a different vendor, but, there's yellow, green, and blue, so it's easy to say, I need the blue bags, or the, whatnot.
That's a good point, 'cause we go to Stop and Shop, the only other one's Hannaford's.
Yeah, that's it. And then you gotta rely on the small mom and pop places.
Yeah, and we could add in more vendors that's no extra.
Especially if we can get a UPC in there.
There would be a UPC on the bags, yep, so the insert would have, the bags are the same, there'd be an insert so they can scan it at the register, or key it in, however they, check things out at the register. Yeah, that part is usually easy enough, right, 'cause right now they're probably having to key in or use a special button or type in the price or however it is in here, scan, something else.
Are the new bags already out? I still see the other ones. I still been.
They were delivered mid-May, so yeah, they've gotta be in there. They're definitely in
Have you
Hanford by now.
received any concerns?
No,
with
actually
them?
Stacy knows somebody.
I know somebody that had them, we were at a party at the
Oh.
house with the drawstrings,
Mm,
much better bags
Yeah.
than the
Are
last.
they?
bags.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good.
yes,
Much
much
You're
better
the first
bags.
person I've talked to
That's good because,
Of course.
in
it
case
would.
something does happen, we have, we can contact somebody, quality
Yes.
control, and always work something out.
Yes, exactly.
That's good to hear, that's good.
Right, the bags, we totally stand by our bags, if whether, obviously if someone's like, I put some knives in my bag, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll probably still give them a replacement because resident service, customer service, but, we do stand by our bags, whether it's the store, the town, or the resident that has a defective bag in some way. There's a 5-digit code that's printed on the front of the bag with our, production run. It's helpful to know that, so we can actually log it in and see what went
Yeah, you can
wrong,
check the
do
logs,
some
yeah.
training and whatnot. But yes, we would give a replacement sleeve to, again, who's ever out or has the affected bag. So we would do that absolutely if there was any problems. Yeah, whether it's calling our customer service or, emailing, for a resident concern, to me, that's fine too.
We have
Excellent.
essentially this program in Hanson.
Yes, we work with Hanson as well, yes.
And it's the easiest,
Yeah.
most cost effective. We
Yeah.
literally don't have to deal with anything other than just getting your reports in.
Yep.
And that's it.
I was actually, when I
And
worked for Newton, we were
it's-
overflow bag, and, I was a wastewater customer before I started working with Wacero, and I called him Wendy Morgan, is my colleague, who sent me the reports. I call them the Wendy reports, and I'd put them in a folder, and whenever I had to pull it up for inventory, we had a Waste Management as our hauler, and they charged if we had extra amount of bags each quarter, blah, blah, blah. I'd pull up and count how many bags were sold, and yeah, it was very easy to, never had to worry about it, exactly. If a store calls, I need to order some more bags, I'm like, here's a 1-800 number to call. Yeah, it totally makes it, very convenient. We hear, when folks switch over, East Bridgewater switched over about a year or two ago, and obviously Somerset and Hanson started that way. But they're like, why was I doing this sooner? Because you don't realize how much it is when you start to add up. Again, the delivery, the phone call, the checking,
Oh,
it just,
yeah.
there's just so many more things that happens. And probably somebody in treasury maybe has to itemize it, or the
accounting.
general fund and different things. So it really adds up, and we just provide that service as opposed to.
I would look at my budget back then and say, all right, I have $12,000 left, it's getting close to the end of the year, what can I, and I try to figure out what,
How many bags?
how many
Yeah.
small, how many small, how many large,
Yes.
this
We
and
don't
that.
have to worry about running
This-
out
this-
in our
No.
Connex box.
This works out excellent, because
Yeah.
it's on the vendor to figure out their own, they figure out their own needs.
Exactly, and again, as an established program, they already kind of know what they need.
Yeah.
And we can help them with that as they're, transitioning. If they're kind of like, I don't know how often I call, I'm like, well, you're calling every week, or, it's very easy to figure out once they think about it, and we get them, squared away with bags, and again, handling that for you, so you don't have to worry about bags, unless you're selling them here as a one location.
But what's the cost to the town? Like, how, is it per bag? How
So
is it?
with the RSD, which we call Retail Certification RSD, when we add that in, it's about 5 cents extra a bag, but also when you're adding in, cause right now you folks are just kind of ordering on a PO basis, right? You didn't do an agreement with us, right? It's just kind of a PO. Doing a contract, you see some savings, so it might kind of almost be very similar to what you're currently paying. I'd have to kind of double check numbers to see what you're currently at. I usually don't get involved in pricing, cause then I'd be like, give everybody everything, no cost at all. So they don't let me stay in that side of the world. But usually things, if you're right now doing kind of PO to PO, it kind of starts to stabilize even better. So you're seeing a better value doing an agreement with the RSD than you're just buying off and doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
So I can get some pricing for you and kind of look at what that would be, for a 3-year agreement, if you're interested.
And that probably gets kicked back in the general fund, and it offsets the price of, our waste program.
Right, that's typically what,
It
yeah.
helps.
I mean, obviously the bad cost is
Yeah.
for the disposal of the trash that's in it, yeah. So,
And it's a good way to track, just say the tipping fees increase.
Yeah.
And then and then the hauler says, I have to increase my price.
Right.
We can always look at how we're trending with the bag sales and.
True, and the other services that we offer to our customers as well is kind of doing a kind of panel. So we'd look at, trending of what other communities are paying for their trash bag. I mean, obviously every community handles it differently. North Attleboro has a complete enterprise fund, so their bag price is a little bit higher because it totally funds their entire program. Some folks just offset it and so use the tax base and have a flat fee with the bag. There's obviously a variety of ways that it's funding a program, but from a resident point of view, they hear, well, so-and-so's buying their trash bag for this much, and that person's getting it for that low price. Why are we paying this much? We kind of help you look at, the best way to manage it, seeing what other folks are paying, kind of doing that analysis to help you make sure your program's managed efficiently and doing some good PR, because we all know this keeps trash down and keeps folks, tax dollars going to more important programs than trash cans.
People actually recycle more now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They're actually conscious now, of,
Yeah.
I'm not loading up this bag, put those bottles in there, put this in there.
Absolutely.
And that's
It's
what the goal
one-
is,
It's
get it out of the
totally-
waste stream.
Totally the marker, is again, it's that meter. You're like, I don't wanna buy another one of these, darn bags. A lot of times people forget about their bathroom recyclables, right? Your shampoo bottle, the toilet
Yeah,
paper
that's
roll. But when you're, every little thing, you're like, wait a minute, that can go in. And you're not just getting the cans and newspapers, from the kitchen. But another great thing that, our customers are being able to take advantage of too very soon, we're in the north of Boston right now, coming probably to south of Boston in coming soon, either end of 2017 or early 2018, is we're partnering with the community, with a company called Simple Recycling. And I have a little handout, and they're doing, curbside textile recycling. Completely free to the town, free to the resident, they'd actually pay the town $20 a ton for every ton of textiles, collected. And what they do is it's a curbside, they mirror your recycling routes, so you have weekly recycling, I believe. So residents could put out a bag of textiles every week if they wanted, or once in a blue moon, whenever they felt like it. We're gonna be using pink bags in Massachusetts because no other community has a pink pay-as-you-throw bag, so it's very clear that it's a different bag. And they were literally, kind of like if you have yard waste collections, just basically driving up and down the routes looking for those pink bags. Residents can put what they're putting in, like, for a Goodwill donation trailer, so small household goods in addition to actual clothing and shoes. They'd collect them, they'd leave a bag behind, plus a bag. Cause they know, hey, you're definitely a user, we'll leave a bag to replace it, plus another one. And if a resident's like, hey, I'm gonna be cleaning up my attic or my basement of all these textiles, give us a call, we'll probably deliver however many bags you need for that. What they do is there's actually a great need for textiles in the, a lot of it goes to, thrift stores, excuse me. And basically what they're collecting is the same exact outlets as what happens to any used textiles, whether you have a container with Bay State Textiles, or you're taking it to Goodwill or St. Vincent de Paul, it's all the same thing. Some go to stores, some get used for rags if they're, ripped or stained, and into carpet padding or insulation on your car doors, or bedding for animals. Some get shipped to other countries that have a little bit less standard for fashion than maybe we do in the US. But 85% of textiles are currently going in the trash. Only 15% of textiles are getting recycled. I know that I always bring my bag of textiles to places, but folks, you're with your kids, you're busy, you can't find a container, it just goes out in the trash. This is another way to keep those pay-as-you-throw bags only filled with trash and not with recycled materials like textiles. So it's coming soon.
So coming soon.
To right now, so this company Simple has been working in around the country. They kind of started in Michigan, and they've been in Texas, and they've been doing about 5 or 6 years, and now they're slowly expanding. We're helping them get into our communities that have pay-as-you-throw, because it's obviously most beneficial.
Are they working with DEP as well?
DP knows about us, but like, again, they can't really sponsor one particular program over another. So a little bit quick overview on it. So again, residents get to save money. They'd also do all the education and outreach. They do mailers. And they usually do a letter, and it could be from, the town saying coming soon, and elected officials like, we support this, yay. And then, a week or two later, 2 weeks before the program begins, they do a mailer that has a bag inside of it, so it's like, here you go. And the other great thing is, it doesn't compete with donations, because they are for-profit, people aren't getting their tax write-off. If that's important to residents, they can still do their tax write-off. This is basically the convenience, right? Because again, 85% of textiles are going in the trash. This is competing with
There's just some things you can't bring to Salvation Army.
Exactly, yeah. But again, even at Salvation Army, you can bring it there. They might not sell it at the store, but one sock, the white shirts that got a little dingy somewhere, as long as it's not greasy or
The one
oily.
sock.
Yeah,
I know,
one
whatever happens to
shoe,
the other
a stuffed animal with no eyeballs, it can be, obviously not gonna sell it, but they can, recycle it with the textiles. On the backside, it goes over where recycled textiles go. But it's a really exciting thing we're excited to be able to offer to, folks in Massachusetts. So Brookline just started, Brookline just outside of Boston started, April, right after Patriots Day. They were gonna start that week. I'm like, how about the week afterwards, a Monday, not a holiday? So they started right after Patriots Day, and we've been doing collections, and it's great. And we have a couple other communities a little bit north, of Boston starting the next couple weeks, and they just wanna get their bearings before they, expand too much. And the other great thing is it creates jobs in the community, because essentially they're hiring drivers, they're, getting warehouse space, so it's helping whatever community is hosting that. And what they do is they just collect the pink bags, they weigh it so they know how much is coming from Dayton. Because sometimes they may share routes. If Somerset and Dayton signed up, they might, put them on the same truck and keep them separated so they can separate at the warehouse. And essentially it just gets picked up and sorted at a larger facility where they're, and obviously if Mass became a very big market, they might build a whole sorting facility here. But right now they're just collecting, staging, and then distributing it to where they currently are processing textiles for all the different outlets. But yeah, we're really excited to be able to offer that, because it's another great option for residents with pay-as-you-throw to have another thing to get out of the waste stream. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, and I'll keep you posted as we get closer to the date for rollouts in southeastern Mass.
So I think we probably just need the
We'll have to see the pricing.
prices
Sure,
for
yeah.
this for a year.
Yeah, I'll
And
get
we can-
some pricing and a draft agreement, so you can kind of see the terms of that. And the other thing with the agreement, it's a standard template that we use, and most of our communities use it, but we're very flexible. So if you have, folks in the legal department or your town council's like, I don't like this, we'll work with you on it. What is it that you don't like? We just start with something and then we'll adjust from there.
Can you do, just like, essentially two, one with the 3-year agreement and then one essentially to keep it as it is now, what would be looking at pricing for the next year?
Oh, so you wanna know your current
Just
pricing?
that way we
Yeah,
can see both.
You can compare, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. I will, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can project what pricing would be on an
No,
order
but,
by
I
order
mean, if,
basis,
you know,
but, yeah, kind of what your current pricing is and then what it would be
Exactly.
with the agreement and the storage services, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You won't have to count $7,000 bills
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
All right, other than that, I think, once we see the pricing, I'm gonna talk to, our actually DPW, our highway department
Who are doing
handles the delivering and storage of them down there.
You would
Right.
be very
And,
happy to have
I'm
that
sure
in
they
the
would be very
office
happy
place.
to
I'm
see
sure he would.
We hear that.
I can think of better ways for our guys to be, earning a wage other than,
Right, there's
Uh,
always other things
delivering
to
the
do in
trash
highway
bags.
departments, right?
Yeah, whatever they're doing, they have to, one of them or two have to stop what they're doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
come here, get the key, go down there, open up, load up, deliver, come back here, give me the key.
log in how many they
Yeah.
took.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, it's a
also,
lot of work.
if you're
Yeah.
thinking about if they're doing multiple deliveries, are you leaving a couple cases in the back of a truck that are worth street value $200 while you run into one store? I mean, hopefully you don't have any,
We've been
sticky
lucky
fingers
about it.
residents, but I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
concern that we've had in some communities where their DPW is driving busy streets, someone's like, if they don't take the whole box, they take a couple rolls out, and then they wouldn't know. So yeah, this kind of eliminates that because delivery is off your shoulders, so.
Excellent.
Great. Well, thank you. I'll give you my card. Obviously the president has my email information. And I'm sure you can reach
Thank you.
Waste Zero in some way or shape or form. But there you go.
How
Thank
soon,
you.
would you be able to get that pricing?
Let's see,
For the
today
3-year
is
out to us.
Wednesday, hopefully by the end of the week.
Alright,
Yeah.
within the next week and a half?
Oh, definitely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely by Monday, if not the end of the week, so it just depends on how busy everybody is, I can't be like, stop everything you're doing.
Oh, yeah, no.
But yeah, probably by the end of the week, I'll probably
Okay.
do something, if not by Monday.
That's great, that's fine, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, enjoy your meeting.
If it's okay with everybody, I'd like to move on to the dog bite and licensing and vaccination, and quarantines, just in case Stacy gets a call. So we could deal with all those items now perhaps.
I found, I already gave Matt a pack, but I see that he doesn't have it,
Yeah,
so.
I didn't get a chance to
I'm
get
just
it.
gonna keep this, I'll give it back to you, I'll
Okay.
give it to you after.
So this should take care of E and F.
Yep.
So what I gave you was management through the state of when an animal bites a human, dogs and cats specifically, and what they require. What the rabies protocol is for if you have an animal that you know that bit, that is available for quarantine, what they require and what strict strict confinement means, which is what's there on the rabies protocol. And then, I know we talked about, I don't have a quarantine room, so I gave you what the state requires for a quarantine room. Isolation room, quarantine room. And the other one is about dangerous dogs.
So, if I read this correctly, it has to be totally walled off from in a separate room.
Which is what I tell people in their houses.
Yeah.
Because I tell only one person should be touching that dog. Outside, bathroom duties only, attached to a human. So, and I've never had a problem with somebody doing what I've asked them to do, never.
Yeah, you usually visit once or twice
Yep.
during that 10-day period,
Yep,
right?
and then I go back at the 10 days and make sure everything's okay.
We talked about a lot of this morning at the management meeting. And it's unfortunate we don't have the facilities, nor does she have our animal control officer have the means to do so, or the hours designated,
I've
to
never-
do things the way they should be done for the most part, but, hopefully someday that will change.
What does
Now,
our
wha-
shelter look like now? I never saw it.
Well, our shelter was looking pretty good, they were gonna put an outside run on, which now has stopped. And all that material's inside, what is left over is inside. And then I have a train in my facility, because that's where they're storing the train for
Yeah.
Christmas. So, I mean, right now, I only really have 2 kennels I can utilize. And when I took in this dog, well, he's under quarantine, so I couldn't take anything in anyways, legally. But if I could have, for some reason, I wouldn't have had a place to put a dog anyways, because he took up 2 kennels. Because if for some reason I had to do the dog, I would've locked him in one side of the kennel, cleaned out the kennel, moved him into the other side and cleaned him out. And that's one good reason to have an outside kennel, cause I could've locked him outside and taken care of inside. But I have 1 double kennel. That, why we did it that way for large dogs, so they have a place to lay and then a place to eat and stuff like that. But for quarantine dogs, or dogs that tend to be a problem, I usually put them in there because there's a door that's in between them and I can shut them in one side and I can do what I need to do and then open the door from the outside and shut them on the other side and do what I need to do. So. And I have no place to quarantine cats or take cats.
Using this information
Mm-hmm.
and going back and assess what we have there, couldn't you put together something that says, this is exactly what I need to make this thing operate properly?
Well, I can, it's gonna cost the town a lot of money to do a quarantine room. A quarantine room is a separate room, own ventilation, own heat, own air conditioning, can't be, you know, it can't, anything from in there can't escape, it has to have their own running water, the whole 9 yards, cause I should, before I leave there, take off all my clothes and redress, you know, you put on booties and stuff like that, and wash up before I leave that quarantine room, especially if I'm going to go touch another animal. And that's not just for rabies, it's for any disease. If I took in puppies that have parvo, there'd be weeks and weeks I couldn't take anything into the kennel, because even once they were all healthy, it would take me a couple weeks to disinfect that kennel to even be able to put anything back in it.
Is that one of the, well, I understand why you change clothes because of the zoonotics,
Mm-hmm.
but I forget which ones are zoonotic.
Well, rabies is zoonotic,
If it
parvo-
bit you.
Well, yes, yeah,
But,
I could,
you-
if I had saliva,
Come in
it would have
contact
been,
with the saliva.
with the saliva.
Yeah.
Parvo is not zoonotic to, it's not zoonotic, but is contagious to other dogs, not cats, but dogs. You've got feline leukemia cats, that's only a cat thing. Any kind of worm is zoonotic. Distemper's not, but it is to other dogs. If I had a dog that came down with distemper, that would be something that would have to go into quarantine room.
And it's required you do it.
Right. I haven't had those situations, now that I said that, but no, I haven't had those situations.
Yeah.
When the dog left on Saturday, I washed with my kennel wash, and then I went back the next day and bleached everything, left the windows open. So if something was to come in, by Monday, I would be able to put something in the kennel. I do have another dog in quarantine, a little Norwich Terrier over on Fieldstone Drive. It was,
How many dog bites last week? 3?
yeah. And then
How many
there's
were
cat-
licensed?
None of them, well, one of the bites was a cat bite, they're not usually licensed. That dog from the Norwich Terrier is here for a month. So I told the father-in-law, if he's here any more than a month, I want it registered. I have to go back after the, you know, for the quarantine anyways. I did get the rabies certificate, which was like pulling teeth, cause daughter's not very bright. But.
She said. I probably don't wanna.
No.
Yeah, no names.
That was, they were only stopped here until they moved to New Hampshire. But the one on, well, Old Wellington was not, and as I said, cats are not,
Cat bite?
yeah, the cat bite, I got it directly.
Oh, all right.
Probably nothing has come through Morton, that's another thing we need to talk about, Morton Hospital, and, was it St. Anne's? St. Anne's. I don't get reports until almost a month later, after a dog bite.
The Stewart Group.
Yeah, it's the Stewart Group, we've got to do some, it's sort of silly to quarantine a dog after 30 days.
Sturdy I had it that afternoon. Dog
Yeah.
bite was the morning we
should
had it
be.
that afternoon.
Charlton's usually
Morton
pretty
used
good.
to until they
But
got
it's-
bought out.
Right. I mean, Rhode Island, even before the person's walked out, they're calling me and giving me all the information, and I'll send you a piece of paper. Charlton does the same thing usually. But Morton and St. Anne's, it's been, some of them are 30 days almost before I get them. And what's used to quarantine a
Morton
dog
House,
is
oh yeah, it's Stewart, huh?
yeah.
At that point, what do? You just verify that it's.
I verify the dog that verify the dog has a rabies vaccine, not that it really matters, because we're 30 days out.
It's,
But you don't
there's gotta
quarantine.
be a time frame that they have to do it.
They have to do it within, the state says 10 day, you give the 10-day quarantine. If something was funny, they would have to start, or if the dog came up positive for rabies, they would have to start after that 10 days. They tell you 30, but they don't like people to know that, because they want that 10-day quarantine. So if for some reason one of those dogs was acting funny or was put to sleep and the head didn't get sent, they could start at that 30 days.
So we could send them a letter saying we'd like to have the results.
Within
Hey,
24 hours.
Yeah,
Maybe 24
well,
hours.
24 to 48 hours, yeah, because
So we can
our
have the protocol.
protocol is
Right.
we have to quarantine the animal and we can't get these 30 days later.
Right.
Well, we could send them a letter, St. Anne's and Morton, a dog bite.
Any kind of cat,
Right.
dog, anything like that.
Cat or dogs, right?
Right.
We tell the public what, I could tell them, but I'm gonna let you tell them. What the Mass General Law states regarding licensing and vaccination of,
Every dog in the state of Massachusetts should be vaccinated for rabies. I can't make you do any other vaccine besides that, because it's a public health issue, and should be licensed within your town. And just for people that say, well, I never told the town that I had a dog, veterinarians are legally required to send their rabies vaccines to the town that dog lives in. Though we have a hitch with that, because if you go to Petco or Tractor Supply, they don't do that. Because you have a traveling vet, they don't keep the records, they just give you the record and off you go. So there are, you said this morning about 500 dogs that aren't registered in town. I can guarantee you there's probably 800 dogs, because there's probably at least 300 dogs that we don't know that
Yeah.
even live in town.
yeah.
Because they've gone to Petco or Tractor
Right,
Supply or
right.
something like that.
The records that Pam Waller has upstairs, she has roughly 1,300 dogs that we know about.
Right.
Either the people have licensed them the way they should according to state regs, or we've received notification from the vets of vaccination.
And some of those don't include your kennel licenses.
Mhm.
What that printout that she gives us, that says 764 are registered as of yesterday. That doesn't include our kennel licenses, which there's almost 20 on William Street dogs, there's 29 dogs on Winthrop Street that aren't included, that we probably have rabies certificates for, but go under the license. And so I I don't have an individual number for each of them, they just get if they have 10 or more dogs, they get a thing of 20 or whatever of licenses, so.
And the other thing, if you bring a dog into town, you have what, 30 days?
30 days to register in town if you've moved into town, and up to 6 months to register it if it's a puppy. And that's because usually by 6 months you've had it spayed, if that's what you're planning on doing. And some vets wait until they're 6 months to vaccinate for rabies, which is not something that we support. It's, we give it between 3 and 4 months usually, and that's what's required by the state.
It's not like they're a lot of money for a license.
Not in this
Oh,
town.
I forgot what I paid, $5, $10?
$5 for spayed, neutered, and male dogs, $10 for unspayed female dogs.
And then the rabies was cheap, $12.
Well, if you go to a rabies clinic, which any city most cities have rabies clinics, usually in April, because April is considered rabies month. But I know there's a community out, Western Mass that's having one, this weekend. So, they do have them, they hold them all the time at Tractor Supply. Petco does it too.
I was reading Mass General Law this morning after the town manager meeting. And I didn't know there's $100 fine attached.
It can be.
Maybe we should start enforcing that. But I like the idea, who's doing it, do you recall what they
Attaching the
said?
license?
Attaching the license, yeah.
Rehoboth does it, and I'm pretty sure Taunton does it. But Taunton's schedule is, theirs much more expensive to register a dog, but if, after May 1st, if you register your dog, it's an extra $25. After July 1st, it's an extra $50. And by August, if you haven't done it, they give you a citation, whatever that citation is, whatever that is, plus all that, and it's they bring it to court, magistrate signs off on it, and it's attached to your license, so if you get stopped, they can put you in
Did
handcuffs.
you get
They don't
that
do-
bylaw from Taunton and Rehoboth, so we could?
I'll get it from, I'll ask.
So we could
Rehoboth.
review it, I like that. It's a way to make people take action, I think. When you get your license attached, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Taunton citation's $100.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
probably
what
what's
it is.
allowable under Mass
Right.
General Law.
Yeah.
And we don't wanna have to do that. And it's really not so much the money,
It's a
but
yeah.
put yourself in the place of a victim. And you're bit by a dog that you don't know whether that dog has had its rabies vaccination, it's not licensed. Fortunately, we found out that they've all been up to date on their rabies shot. But you know, until we get that information, these victims are, I wouldn't wanna be a victim knowing that I may have to go through rabies,
It's not something you
not
wanna
pretty,
do.
right? So,
Mhm.
consider the victims, and you are responsible for your animals, so.
If
I
nothing
w-
else, it gets it home faster. If I have a tag, I can get that dog home, I can go, yep, I know where that dog lives, so.
You have access,
I don't
to
have
the-
access to to up to date, Pam
they give you a
printed me one out
Okay.
today,
so it's
but it was.
close.
Today's was as close as I've gotten in a long time, it was, the last one I got, I think was in February.
Maybe we could see if Pam, during, at least when the
Yeah.
renewal's coming, could give
And
you them.
we try to
more
make it
often.
convenient. Once a year, we have a rabies clinic, usually held at the North Dayton Fire Station. At that time, we have someone, which is our certified ACO, chipping animals, so we know who they belong to. And they get their rabies shot, and you can license them at the same time. So, you know, I don't know how many people took advantage of it last time, but.
Well, I only stayed half the time because I had someplace else to go, but they were busy right up to the end, which is good. And Dr. Brucey's office did say that
Yeah.
if we were busy, he'd stay as long as we were busy. He gave us, between 2 and 3. He said, but if we were still busy at 3 o'clock, he'd stay until everybody was done, so.
I showed up at 2:58, I think. Last
Okay.
minute for everything.
I know it's not on here, but as part of all of this, I wanna talk about the pit bull up on Old Wellington Street for a moment. 'Cause that was one that was questionable. I spoke with victim tonight just before I came here. And told me she's afraid to stand in her front lawn now, which is not a way somebody should have to live, and I suppose she'll get over that, but she also told me some other things that leads me to think perhaps we should have a dangerousness hearing. I don't know your opinion on that, or,
I'm gonna be very honest, I've never talked to the victim.
okay,
My job is more the animal and what takes care of that, and I have to say, stories definitely don't match on what happened. Do I think this dog is a dangerous dog? No, I don't think I would characterize it as a dangerous dog. I think the owners do everything possible to make sure that nobody gets hurt. They did say that if we would require that they would put a muzzle on the dog anytime it was off the property, which is part of Mass General Law that was just changed. They don't have a problem doing that. We can have a dangerous dog hearing. I'm gonna be very honest, I don't know how long that dog's gonna be around. not because they're moving it.
Yeah.
Because they had said that they were, because they didn't want that kind of problem.
Well, it is a big problem, she's very lucky.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It was serious, huh?
Well, it could have been much more serious.
Right.
She has stitches inside her mouth and on the cheek. I don't think the dog bit down and clamped, he probably had his mouth open and jumped on it. But it was unprovoked,
Right.
you know. I suppose, I don't know, we can discuss, but I think we could do this, if they're willing to take some steps to keep that dog under better control, such as a better pen. My
Right.
understanding was it jumped the backyard fence, so they need a better kennel.
Right.
Number one. Something to standard, you know, the 6 feet
Yeah.
with 2 feet in the ground or whatever it is, and something like that, and muzzle him if he's off.
If he's out of the,
So, if you wouldn't mind talking to them,
I will talk
i-
to
if
them.
they're willing to do that, then, you know, I'd see an animal euthanized.
Well, I think it wasn't something that I said they had to do in any way, shape, or form. This is the first bite at all.
Mhm.
Not even just for, at all. And that's not usually the first step I take unless it's a mauling, then
Right.
we talk different story. But, you know, she's very knowledgeable, she grew up on a farm, she's going to be a vet tech, very knowledgeable about what we're talking about. And she says, you know, we've talked about getting a muzzle, just because. I mean, any dog's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Any dog's unpredictable. And as I said, he came and he took care of the dog because dog is very cage aggressive. Once it was out of the cage, it was fine. But to let it out of to walk up to the cage, it was very cage aggressive.
I don't know, what do you guys think on that one?
Yeah, I agree, we have to ensure this individual that this doesn't happen again.
Right.
I just took a look at the photo.
I mean, my issue is that it was unprovoked, and there was the whole other issue, the police report had discrepancies versus what actually happened, and that's completely unacceptable.
I didn't write the police report.
No, I know, and I mean, I read a police report and then I'm stunned to find out that what actually occurred was completely the opposite.
Right.
And I don't blame the victim for being
Right.
very upset. I was upset with the fact that it was an unprovoked attack, the dog was not registered, and they couldn't immediately produce a rabies
Oh, no, they
vaccine.
could.
Okay, I was told it was
No.
a while before they could
Well,
get.
I picked it up a while later, they
Okay.
showed it to me before
Okay.
I left that first time.
Alright, but,
What was there in
Yeah.
place now for the kennel, what's there now?
Nothing's in the kennel now.
I think
No, I'm
we
saying, like,
need
what,
to-
what's in
Oh.
place?
what's in place now that was so easy for the dog to?
Well, they have, if, I don't know how to explain it.
It's a
They have
fenced
a cellar,
backyard.
they have a cellar, and through the cellar, they have made a doggy door that they only open, that goes out to a kennel, that goes out to the backyard, and then comes back in. 9 times out of 10, and it's always that one time that you don't do it, somebody always went outside with her, or him, but that one time that somebody says, oh, you know, so-and-so's out in the yard, we'll just let them go play in the backyard, is what's gonna happen. No, it's not 6 foot, I do know that. So the dog must have saw him across the street or wherever he was and went to see him because very attached to him.
Yeah.
Very attached. Could care less about her.
I-
So this
You
could
know,
happen, this could happen tomorrow? There's nothing in place?
No, I don't think, no, because they are very cautious about what's going on right now, very cautious.
Well, if you
Because
feel
we've talked a
strong
lot-
with it, cause
Yeah, oh, no,
if it could, then I would say a dangerous hearing then, just
I
to make
know
sure,
they're
yeah.
very, very cautious because they don't want anything else to happen, so they have been very cautious about what's going on.
At a minimum, the dog should be on a leash at this point, anytime it's outside. Told.
Yep,
We'll see if we have standards for
right, we do,
a kennel
yep,
for that type of animal. So, why don't we see if we can get them to do that?
okay.
And
Talk to 'em.
what their plans are, you know. Build a higher fence in the back so it can't jump
Yeah,
over
right.
it, one or the other, but you know, it's, as we always say, it's not the animal's fault, so, but you know, as far as I know, there's been no other incidents up there, right?
Nope.
With that dog, so.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, and it's for their benefit too, I think,
Right.
you know, protect them against, they could have a huge lawsuit.
Right.
So, I think they'd probably be willing to do something
Oh, I
like that.
think they will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
alright,
I think
let's
they will.
leave it at that for now then.
Okay.
Alright? You guys alright with that?
Yeah.
Good, okay.
So does this need to be put on next meeting as old business?
Yeah, probably, if they, gonna
Yeah, we just
comply,
look at steps they
I
put in
think they
place.
will.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind following up with them
No,
at some point, maybe
I'll
in
try
about
to
a
talk
week
to
or
them.
so.
Yeah, I'll try to talk
and
to them
just report
tomorrow
back.
and tell them what we've talked about,
Yep.
and then I'll go back.
Just to ensure that they're,
You have Joe's resignation?
just to ensure that they're maintaining, you know, what they need to.
Yep.
And then,
Zoning different meeting?
Zoning board, planning board,
The conservation.
conservation, and
down the
there.
hall.
Down the hall on the left.
Oh, all right, thanks.
Hi, Roger.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks, Steve.
Yesterday we received a memo from our percolation agent, Joe Pacheco, addressed to the board, which states, please accept this as my formal resignation from my position as test percolation agent and agent of the Dayton Board of Health effective June 30, 2017. During the next 2 weeks, I'm willing to help you in any way to make the transition as smooth as possible. Sincerely, Joe Pacheco. Well, Joe Pacheco has been representing this town in that capacity for a good number of years, and sooner or later, I guess you say enough is enough, and he's done a great job for the town of Dayton. So Joe, I wish you well and happiness, and I don't think this is your retirement, but it may be, so so he's needed a motion to accept his resignation.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'd just like to say, same thing, I echo Tom's statement, I know for myself, I've worked with Joe on different things, and I remember going for the soil evaluator class, and I would pick his brain. He was a good asset to the town, very smart, he sadly missed. That's my bad.
Good, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, I appreciate all the work he's done for the town, and I know he's been doing this for a long time. Definitely be missed. Tough to replace.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of knowledge there. So we wish you well, Joe. Okay, well, with that being said, since now we have
Into the health aid.
an ongoing problem is what to do about a health agent. And as we spoke, and I did find out that you cannot hold two appointed positions, so I hope
Paid, right? You can't get paid for
two
both.
paid appointed
Yeah.
positions.
You could still hold appointed position and only get paid one?
Yes, that's right. Tom Ferry's got like 7, so, in any event, when we were doing the budget, we looked at the number of hours that our food inspector was doing and our general inspector, which is Kevin at the time, presently, and the hours that Joe Pacheco was spending, which was able to create the budget. I'm not sure what, I think we might have budgeted a little bit more than this, I'm not sure. But this year's budget, we budgeted $12,000 for the perk agent, and we budgeted $8,000 for the food inspector. And we're within those. There are years when we exceed that. You were there, you saw that.
Mhm.
The number of hours that came down at the rate of, and these were both hourly wage or per diem people. So it came down to 480 hours for that, for $20,000, which was 40 hours a month, for the two of them. Yeah,
Sorry.
is that right?
10 a week.
No, that was just for one of them. But I figured $25 an hour, since that's our per diem guys now. For that price, and it came out to approximately 20 hours. But we have Jim Aguirre who's doing
There's quite a bit.
a lot of work for us. I don't know your feelings, we spoke about a 25-hour health agent within the town. I think, at least from what I figured, I wish I could explain it better, but if you do the math, it comes out to 25 hours should be sufficient for the perk agent and the food inspector.
I think that's, for the town currently, that's sufficient. I know
25.
over the last probably 4 years, probably about over 4 years, I've said all along that the town needs, at a minimum at this point, a part-time, true, permanent health agent, and, I think the hours probably 4 years ago I'd come up with was about 20, give or
Yeah.
take. So that's, and at that point, we still had Joe, so.
Right.
I think that's.
The agent would do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I know your preference is to try to be a member of the Board of Health, so, and you couldn't do both anyway. I wish,
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I wish they put it out for applications soon, so we could all know.
The agent has to be around during the daytime because of the perks and system
Yeah, the
installations and
salary
things
comes
like
out
that.
to, it'd be a starting salary for 25 hours of 32.5, which is pretty good, I think.
Right about in line.
Any thoughts?
No, but that would encompass the perks,
Food,
all Title V, food,
Mm-hmm.
housing, nuisance.
the housing
Yeah, but-
nuisance. Just trying to think of anything else we're missing.
The only, had to find out benefit-wise what the town's responsible for after part-time. It's not so much on our end, but that's
You know,
beyond.
it's more than 20 hours, so.
Right, so I don't know how they work.
Yeah.
And
That's just on
then we'd
the
have to look
town's
at the
budget side.
schedule the way it is, there's no Fridays, of course, but are they required to be here at certain times? And even in the office helping out Roz if they, whoever's,
Well, I would seem to think, well, we don't, the health agent could get a call on a Friday and have to go out
Yeah, yeah.
on an
That's
inspection.
true, yeah.
So.
Or on
Joe
Friday
does work on
afternoon.
Friday, he's
Yeah.
available if.
Right. I would say it would be flexible, but that's something that, you know, you have to post an interview and probably at some point in the next couple weeks, you talk to Joe and find out when he worked most, what days and, you know.
Cause I've done housing inspections, I've got called on Saturdays, it doesn't matter, like
Yeah.
police call me and say, you gotta go out there, I've actually did one 2 o'clock in the morning.
I mean,
Yeah, it's,
we could set it up.
We don't want that, but
Right.
you
it's
have
an
to do it.
emergency.
It happens.
To spend so many hours in the office and on other things, you know. I gotta tell you, these last couple of weeks, I said, is 25 hours enough? After, you know, you've been out on.
Yeah, this
all
has been
kinds
a
of
little, yeah,
stuff.
this month's been a little
You
hectic.
get weeks that are a little busier and weeks that are slower.
Yeah, I went on average weeks, like you know, some months you worked, a lot of hours, other.
When it comes to the food, as
Yeah.
Matt would know, you're required every 6 months to do the inspection, but then you stagger them, so you're not doing everything right at June, everything at December, so you.
So if you get a busy month with emergency housing
Yeah.
stuff, you could push off the food a month.
Yeah.
You'd have to double up and hope that it's slower the final, but I've had to
You
do
got to,
that.
yeah, you have to manage it properly.
Yeah.
But
So
there are gonna be times where you're gonna be a little down, and there's gonna be times where it's gonna be
Straight
busy,
out.
yeah. You're gonna, then what do we do about that? Cause I know on myself, I'm allowed some comp time and stuff, I think
Yeah, you know, we
You have
talked
to work
about,
on-
Depending on the workload.
we talked about per diem, but it's gonna be difficult to get somebody, difficult enough to get somebody for 25 hours. So I asked that it not be per diem for that particular reason,
Right.
with a straight 25 hours. And I think the work is there.
Yeah, especially with the.
We've all-
You have a lot of perks and,
Yeah.
it's,
Now, would that
Bottom
person
inspections.
be doing the, signing the septic permits when they come in, reviewing, looking at Jerry Bernard's comments, so that would take, Chairman wouldn't have to be in, is that something they would have office hours and be coming in reviewing that stuff, or is that something that's gonna stay with the board and they just do the inspection anyway?
I would assume that, I would say he's gonna review the plans for, you know,
Or we could start it, keep it as it is, as time allows, I mean, certainly if they have the, if it seems like they're gonna have the time to do it, then fine.
yeah.
If not, then that's something, you know, hey, maybe the following year it gets pushed to 30 hours to
Cause they
accommodate
will
for
have to
that.
come in to review the as-bills when they come in, Joe,
Oh, yeah.
you know, signs off on those, he signs off on the certificate of compliance.
yeah, whatever Joe did.
Well, they're, right,
Okay.
and they're
So
the ones
it
that
will
are
have
doing
to
the
be-
inspection, they know what was installed and where it was installed, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna, this person will do whatever Joe did and whatever Kevin is doing.
Oh,
They'd have,
okay.
they'd have desks, they'd have office hours, for sure.
So,
Fielding calls, following up on stuff,
so they'd be sending me the letters, coming in, have to sign them, so there would probably be some sort of office hours that we could
Oh,
get.
yeah.
Consolidate what needed to be done when that person was there.
Of course.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, if you go out on a perk, what, 4 hours we figured for the, more or less, right?
I'm
it
not really
depends.
sure.
Some are quick, some are.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
I
some
did
are
one
quick.
today that was 3 hours, the soil was terrible. I've done some where they pour the 24 gallons, I'm out of there in just 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes, I've done them, I've been 9-10 hours,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
That's really what it depends on, it depends
Yeah.
on, your day is dictated, you could say what you're gonna do, I could say I'm gonna do this tomorrow, and, you get a call, and some of them are like, oh, so-and-so, there's abandoned house with pool uncovered, there's all mosquitoes, whatever it is. You have to follow up, you have to
Yeah.
follow up on all these, and some you get to some and you say, wow, what's going on here? And on the perks, you never know the timeframes.
Well, like now, Joe, with his knowledge and his background in the town, he knows if he gets a perk out on Elm Street with all that ledge, he could be there all day. Or if he gets one up on Middle Street or, Maple Street or somewhere else in town that has great soil, he's gonna be there for an hour or less.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody new isn't gonna know the dynamics of the soil in town.
Usually
So-
learn it after a little while and.
Yeah, but then it's
Well,
gonna be required,
old
it's gonna be a
records
little
and
tough
all.
though, cause we're gonna be requiring some certifications.
Yep.
Especially if they do the, if we're gonna rely on them for doing these perks and so soil
You're
evaluation
gonna
at
have to have
least.
those certifications, food,
Yeah.
soil, perks.
Title V, just
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you to bring in a job description for a health agent. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
That way there we can, what's next week?
21st.
What's next Wednesday?
21st.
21st.
Now, in the time frame in between, he's
Is
got
there any
2
chance
weeks.
we could meet next Wednesday?
I have a commitment at 7, Bob, I reckon.
I have one at 7 also,
If we
but
could do
we
it,
met
if we
early.
could do it Thursday instead, it's my first Lakeville meeting.
Okay, yeah, that'd be
Okay.
fine, cause I'd
I don't
like
know if you
to,
guys can do it,
I'd like to put this job together and the selectmen are okay with it.
Thursday's fine.
Alright, why don't we schedule a meeting for next Thursday, just specifically for this, for only.
That's the agenda, okay.
Yeah, just to put this job together and give it to the selectmen, cause they are the hiring and appointing authority, so they can be the ones that advertise it.
6
So-
o'clock?
Yeah, that's fine. Is that money available? But we'd have enough to cover until. the
Well,
special.
we got enough till the fall meeting, yeah. Cause this budget's gonna run, there's enough to make it through the end of the
So
year.
we have what, from the other 2 inspectors?
Yeah, we still got the 20,000
And by the
up
time
there.
it gets posted and we hire someone, it probably wouldn't be, and they'd start wouldn't be till probably August anyway, so.
Yeah, so that's why I'd like to try to get this done next week, advertised. I would like to see somebody here within 30 days, but I don't know if we can pull that off. we've gotta move on the job description if that's what we wanna do.
Yeah, yeah, we need that all approved before we could post.
Yeah.
So if you guys come up with whatever you have for job descriptions and send them to me, I'll print out copies for everybody, we can tweak them and then put them all together, that's an idea.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I know it's not on the agenda, but what about the board itself?
I'm pushing them for that, we,
No, are they, June 30th is coming up quick.
I know that.
I'm gonna be, I'm on vacation
You
in
got-
Myrtle
you-
Beach and I'm wondering,
you gotta make a
what do I do,
decision.
what do I do
Oh.
on July 1st? They gotta make a decision, right?
Yes.
When I come in on July 1st, or whatever, July 3rd, which hat am I wearing?
Unless you wanna,
Well, it looks like I would still have to hold two hats until we're ready to do something. Somebody's gotta do the inspection,
Yeah.
just say, right? There's always something, we're gonna have in July,
It's
we're
all-
gonna have the basketball camp, we're gonna have whatever it is. I should be done with all my food by then. But
You've got
you
two
have-
pool inspections coming up
You got
that
two pool
probably need
inspections
well,
Sounds
I
fair.
don't want you, I mean, you shouldn't have to give up one thing if,
Yeah.
you know, if we don't know
Well,
what
that's
the
why, that's.
what the future is
yeah.
gonna hold. I don't see any reason why
It's an
neither one of you would.
extreme circumstance. I told Rosalind I don't mind in the interim doing, helping out and trying to get the septic inspections, not the perks, I can't do the perks,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the perks.
Yeah.
But the bottom of holes and.
That's what
Final.
Jim Agia said he'd do some too, and,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's chipping in and,
Yeah, I can do any, I get out 4:30, I can do any bottom inspections and stuff like that after that, and then on Fridays I get out at 12.
Thursday and Friday I'm out at 12, so.
the beauty of
And
this.
I can do any of those inspections if they wanna just say, Kevin will drive by, Matt will drive by.
We even
Just
know
look at-
in the
Yeah.
machine that they're all set,
We'll make
you
it
know.
work, that's the beauty of this
Yeah.
town,
Okay.
so,
I can't do perks as well, though.
Yeah,
It's impossible.
that's,
Can't be two places at once.
Alright, so we'll get this together next Thursday and we'll present it to the selectmen and have them advertise and, Tom, we had a question for you, but I forgot what it was.
Bags.
Where's that?
Trash bags.
Oh, about the bags.
Okay,
You know about this?
no,
No,
Oh.
yeah.
but I stopped in about the bag, so let's see what you have.
Well, we're thinking about contracting with Waste Zero. They're a bag manufacturer and also a bag distributor. What they do, they manufacture, they distribute, and they do the accounts receivable, all the accounting. So your guys won't have to go out and deliver bags anymore.
You
And
won't
our people
store them.
don't have to count money, no accounting. What you said, they got 4 cents a bag?
I think she said
About
five,
five.
but
but then the price of the bags comes down, cause you're,
Right.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
doing a price,
And our retailers are getting 5 cents too,
is it 5 or 4 now?
it's something in there, yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5. She's doing a pricing for us, putting together a pricing. I also kinda wanna figure out, well, when you think about the inventory that you're doing down there, inventory once in a while, delivery of the bags, they come in and, especially if they have cash, so now we're spending a lot of time counting cash. 2 people actually, you and Mary, so we'll see what the cost benefit is, if it's worthwhile or not, you know,
They're gonna store them too?
Yeah, they do everything.
you wanna,
they deliver right from the warehouse.
your involvement would be zero. You wouldn't have to worry
The
about
only
it
thing we
then.
do here probably is if we sold bags here, a storage place here. We have that already, right?
Yeah.
That's about it.
yeah,
You
kind
could
of.
get 1 or 2 cases at a time.
You
maybe.
put the box in your office and somebody
Yeah.
come in and it's simple
Right.
enough,
Yeah.
and it depends if you wanna take cash or check, or both.
That's it.
So it would
And
totally
then
take it off your,
we're also thinking if you wanted to sell them at the transfer station as well. Do you sell now at the transfer station?
no.
No, that would have to be check only
Check only.
if that happened.
I don't know if you think it's a need for it. We can always, the idea is to get the bags out there. And
Yes.
if we have more venues to do it,
That's not a bad thought. That shed is not a secure place to store them.
We have no liability either.
Right.
Something
There's-
happens to the
case
bags.
at a time,
It's not our issue.
Yeah, the case is expensive.
yeah.
We probably finagle in a dog facility.
Well, we need a quarantine
Yeah.
area.
Train storage?
We were talking
The
about,
train.
we were talking about you building a quarantine room up there.
Yeah,
Um,
it sounds good, we've explored this before, I'm not sure why we didn't go down.
Yeah, I
the road.
talked about that.
It might have been, they might have wanted a more overhead than the 4 cents per bag, maybe.
No, that was what they
Where-
quoted before.
That's what they quoted before, 'cause I thought, no, maybe.
There's an issue with the drawstring bags that certain people didn't want, cause it took a square or a cubic inch or something.
I'll take drawstring any day over those
Much
years.
more sanitary, keeps the trash from blowing around, it's easier, you pull the cord and that's it, you're not trying to finagle and tie it with your trash, especially in this weather with rotting
Yeah.
material.
I'm still working off those old bags, I gotta get rid of them. Still got like 2 or 3 left.
Yeah, I don't see any reservations, why not?
I was just thinking,
Yeah, I like the idea of the transfer station too.
so we'd have them there and here, clerk's office and maybe our office. And then besides that, this Waste Zero would just, they take care of everything. Money gets deposited back to the town, whether what account it's going into, whether it's the general fund or a specific account towards the trash program.
They deal with all the billing, trying to collect the
Yeah.
money.
No, that's through the state bid list, right?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
are the state of those,
Right,
yes.
I remember seeing them at different vendors.
Said they're below the bid.
Yeah.
They're pretty much, they're in a lot of
Yeah,
towns.
they would deliver Dayton bags to any community that would wanna sell bags, like Somerset Stop and Shop. You know, when you think about the people that come in here and buy bags, if you can buy them at Stop and Shop in Somerset or another vendor, because it's more convenient now, you're gonna save time everywhere, it seems.
Mhm.
So,
Even just the time with the bookkeeping for me, with the orders, tracking the payments, logging them in, the database, the inventory, and then the highway department's time. When you put that together, 5 cents a bag is,
And on our end,
Think
we're gonna
about it.
look towards what the contract looks like and of course try to save as much as we can for the town.
Right. The transfer station's check only because the attendant's not bonded, and it just makes more sense, so you wouldn't have to disagree.
yeah, they could add it to it.
Mhm.
right, they're already bringing checks, so they would just add whatever else they wanted to add.
Then you could even have whatever they sell their transfer station, you could have delivered here and then see if, how they even sell. 'Cause I mean, nobody would really be up there to be receiving them when they're shipped. So shipped, I guess, what, FedEx, she said?
And they could put UPC codes on the insert, and so the vendors would like that.
It's a good question, how to receive it at the transfer station.
Yeah, I think it would probably just be something we'd have to work out. They could, we could drop them off or whatever.
I think Waste Zero
You can
would
have a little
sound like
many-
she
you can have a
would
little
figure that
inventory
out.
sheet.
They would come here,
But to deliver them to the transfer station.
yeah, they would come here.
Because no one would be up there when they're delivered.
Cause I
to
take,
receive the case.
Yeah, they only
I
get
take
it
the other
twice.
supplies, the invoices and the envelopes from here and the stickers.
Yeah, so it would just be,
That's a sporadic delivery, so the bag delivery should be here,
yeah.
Yeah. and then-
received here, I should say.
I don't think there'd be a huge demand for it, but it's a nice option.
It is,
People.
Yeah, the case on hand would work, I guess.
Mhm. Cause you have the same frequent flyers that go there.
Right, as long as it's clear that we're not receiving bags of trash here.
Yeah. No,
Won't
there's
be
no
items.
solid waste at all
Right.
in any transfer station, no.
OP items only.
Closed transfer station, closed landfill.
Right.
The other thing, while you're both here, could you spec out the truck that you think would be good?